Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the 777 Mystery School. Thank you for being aware of the time change. So we loaded up class today by 7 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. and that's 7 p.m. Mountain Time instead of 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for your flexibility. So once again, this is Samhain Irena Crowley and we're talking about the African mysteries. We are in class 3. We only have one more class to go. Can you believe it? June is almost over. June went pretty fast. And so here we are in class 3. And we're going to talk about probably one of the most popular topics when it comes to African mysteries. The voodoo doll, or what we call spirit dolls. Because the spirit doll isn't just from voodoo. The spirit dolls and magic dolls, they go all the way back to the Egyptian times when I believe they were originally made out of bone, animal bone and human bone. And then they progressed to clay and mud and then cloth and putties, porcelain, wood, and then natural stuffings like herbs and moss and corn silk and cotton. And even to our most recent material, the infamous plastic. Anyways, spirit dolls are amazing energies. And there are so many cultures who use spirit dolls in their magic. In fact, I think it's just a way of nature. It's a way of magic. It's a way of humanity when it comes to magic, that spirit dolls are just second to nature. It's kind of like who we are. I don't know what you think about that, but there hasn't been a culture that I haven't studied that doesn't have some form of spirit doll, whether it's a voodoo doll or a puppet or a fetish, or a rope doll, or a string doll. They all have some form of doll. So what is the purpose of the doll? The purpose of the doll is to create something that wasn't there before. So there's a gap, there's a need, there's a want, there's a desire, and it has yet to be created. It is yet to be created. And then we form this doll, our intention, into a doll. And then therefore it is now manifested. So remember, it wasn't manifested before, which could be money, or a love relationship, or an energy, or a hex, or a purpose, or a business. And we place this spiritual force or source of power into this vessel. So we're literally manifesting and conjuring and summoning a spirit, an intention, a matter, a life force, and then placing it in a vessel. And the vessel is the doll. But it wasn't there before, right? It wasn't there before. It didn't exist yet. Maybe that $1 million business, or that $1 million income, or the love of your life, or a new job, or better health, or the win for the perfect game. Whatever it may be, a lot of times voodoo dolls or spirit dolls were used for two main purposes. One, health and vitality, and two, to hex somebody or fix somebody or get somebody. But mainly for healing properties and protection. The other way that the doll was used was as an idol, or as a figure, as a form of worship, like a statue. You know, statues are very similar to dolls. And a lot of times statues were represented as dolls. They're similar. And they were made for worship, or for idolizing, or for memory. So it just kind of depends on where you want to go here. Do you want to make a doll for idling for your goddess or your god, or for a particular spirit or saint that you like working with? Or do you have an intention and you want to build energy and you want to build business? So a lot of times I also suggest that it's good to have another practitioner make your doll for you. And a lot of times it's good to have another practitioner make your doll for you so that your emotional attachment or your emotional blockages are not inside of the doll. When the doll has been made for you, your emotional blockages and your psychosis is not in the doll. You don't have that attachment, because a priestess or a priest has made the doll and they have infused that energy into the doll for the greater good of their client. So sometimes it's better to have a doll made for you if you feel that you have a strong attachment emotionally, or if there's a blockage there, or a mind block, or a sex block, or an energetic block. You can hire a practitioner to make one for you. But if you don't have a block, or you want to utilize the doll to work through those blockages, which you can do, then that can also support you. Some people choose to go straight into the doll weaving or the spell practicing knowing that they have blockages, and they do that intentionally to clear the blockages, because the only way to clear the blockage is what? To go through. To move through. So a lot of times when I do my spell work, if I hire another practitioner to assist me, it's because I'm getting ready to break through some major blockages and I'm asking for support. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's power in that. That's why we're a community. That's why we connect with each other. That's why we hold each other up and hold the high watch for each other, is to support each other. But it's also being conscious, am I going to use this tool as a motivation and as a instrument to break through my blockages so that I can have what it is that I say that I want, or that I can be what it is that I say I want to be. And that's the beauty of this. And that's for those of you who are manifesting energy, who are manifesting good health, who are manifesting something that you don't already have yet. Now in hexing, it is very, very different. In hexing, it's because that person is genuinely guilty. Is the person guilty? Be certain in that. Not because you're in your emotion and you didn't get your way. It's because that person is guilty. And that person harmed you intentionally and consciously. And you know that that's a toxic person, and you need to do a hex to protect yourself. That is called psychic protection and psychic defense or magical defense. And that is sometimes necessary because there's sick people out there. There's messed up people out there. There's jealousy out there. There's a lot of people in the industry. We use dolls to keep jealousy off of us or to keep slander off of us. So there's a lot of things that you can do to heal yourself and to support yourself and protect yourself. You may have a disease and need to heal yourself. You can use your doll to do that. You can start to transfer the energy out of your body and place it into the doll, and the doll will start to absorb it. Very similar to a crystal. That's one of the reasons why we use mud and dirt in healing ceremonies. Because what does mud do? Very similar to salt. Mud and dirt draws out the infection. So you could make a clay doll for those of you who have an illness. You may have COVID and you need to get rid of it. Or you may have an ear infection, or you may have something going on with your stomach. You can make a clay doll out of yourself, and the clay will start pulling the infection out of you and then into the doll. And then after you have your 29-day cycle with your doll, then you get rid of your doll and you disperse it. So some practitioners don't believe in dispersing the doll. I believe in dispersing the doll. I believe in working with the doll for 3 to 6 months and then releasing the doll and letting it go and then making a new one. Now, some dolls are more permanent and you have them for a lifetime, especially if a high priest or a high priestess makes a doll for you, then that's something that you would want to keep for a lifetime and continue to feed and bless and dress and take good care of. You have to also remember your dolls are like babies. They're baby dolls, they're spirit dolls, and you need to feed them and bathe them and cook for them and clean them and bless them and change them and take good care of them. So the way you treat your doll is the way you treat your intention. So if you have the intention to heal yourself and then you treat, your doll like shit, then what do you think you're going to get? If you have the intention to grow a business and you take good care of your doll and you bless your doll and you feed your doll, what do you think you're going to get? So be intentional when doll creating. And doll creating is from all over the world, from Croatia to Russia to Africa to Europe. And we all have a different form of medium that we use. Now, in the classroom, when you click the link below and go to the classroom to read the documents and learn more, I've talked a little bit about corn dolls because corn dolls are pretty easy. It's easy to get corn. It's easy to use the corn silk and the corn husk to make a doll. And then you can add ribbons and cords and cotton and your herbs and your essential oils if you so choose. Or you can just use the corn husk and the corn silk. But they're one of my favorite, and then I like to use the corn for offerings and blessings. So it's a very simple way to put together something intentional and very powerful. And then 29 days later, or sometimes if you have a intention that needs to be handled immediately, then you can just burn the doll after it dries. The great thing about corn husks too is you can repurpose it. So that's it about dolls. I've said what I needed to say here. Thank you for listening. And I pray that this taught you something. Make sure that you go to the Google Documents, click the link below, and read more. And there is some little insights on how to make your own corn doll and how to create. If you have any questions, just connect with me on social media, and I'll be more than happy to speak to you. Now, if you have a doll that needs repair, you can contact me. Or if you want to have a doll made for you, you can contact me. I have plenty of resources for other high priestesses and practitioners who make dolls, and that's what they do for a living. So lots of love, lots of light. This is Samhain Irena Crowley, and we just talked about voodoo dolls and spirit dolls in African magic. This is part 3, and I'll see you next week for part 4. And make sure you click the link below to check out the Google Classroom. There's a bunch of other classes there. We have our 7 keys to business, and the psychic ABCs, and the Samhain, which is the wheel of the year. And we have a new course coming up. I'm so excited about it, where I'm going to be teaching tarot. I'm going to be teaching tarot sorcery. I'm not going to tell you too much about that. You'll learn more about that soon. But for those of you who want to learn tarot and learn the magic of tarot and the paths and the tunnels of tarot and the sorcery of tarot, it's pretty advanced but very, very powerful. It will be the perfect class for you. So, goodbye for now.